going on, guys? It's Ricky from Volnay Capital. We're here for another Volnay Live. We have an amazing guest today. We have Nicole Curtis from HGTV, Rehab Addicts.
All right, so we'll say it again. We got Nicole Curtis, Rehab Addict. So we were kind of talking through the last question I just asked you was someone renovating their own home, areas where they can do it on a budget, and where areas that they can save money.
Yeah, I always tell everyone, whatever you can try to do yourself, always try it first. It's always going to be cheapest. And then if you fail, call in the professionals. So you can try painting, you can try, like recaulking your tub, changing out a light fixture, tiling, floor sanding to a point. But anything that you could, seriously be injured from, like changing out your electrical panel or anything, I'm like, please don't do that. Anything that requires like a serious license requires that for a reason, because it's a lot of work. So right now with everyone locked at home, I am seeing some wonderful things people are doing at home. And I'm also seeing some things where I'm like, oh my God, why would you even try that? If it could flood your house, it'd be a little weary, but rules of thumb, always turn off the power before you do anything electrical. Always turn off the water before you do anything with plumbing. So if you can follow those rules, I think everyone will be okay.
So what are some design trends that you've been seeing lately that you're really in love with, and things you think that need to go away?
Well, I don't do anything trendy because we stick with like a very clean, minimal look in everything we do. So, everyone right now, everyone's doing dark colors, which I love. I'm not a fan of those in kitchens if you cook a lot or if you have children, because the dark colors, everything shows. So you wash your hands and you splatter them and it's all over your cabinets. It's all over this. So that's the only thing, is like a mom and someone who's a little more practical with design. I like stuff that's washable. But I really think people are finding out too, all of this openness, all like, where they go and just take out every single wall. I'm out in LA and I can't tell you how many, houses I go into, and there's like literally no walls anywhere. And like right now people are stuck at home, and I think they're all screaming like, oh, we need some separation. So I always say, we're a little different bug, but we also design in houses that are big enough to where you have all that space. So we don't really need to open up any walls. But, I think it's always something I say, accessorize your old house with your trends and your loves, but don't, the old house is so spectacular. Don't ruin it by putting your touch on it, because, trends, as you know, come and go just like that. So, all of a sudden we're seeing brass everywhere. And can you imagine like trying to do anything with brass like 6 years ago? People have been like, what are you doing? So it's always something like that. I say, always follow the trends if you have enough money to change your design in a couple years. If you don't, stay true to the house, number one, unless it's like 1987. Don't do that. Because then you're going to have a duck country scene border, and like then you'll get a splash of red going somewhere in your kitchen. But, if you stay very minimalist and neutral, then you can always change things up a bit. Yeah, that's how every one of our kitchens is white or white or white, pretty much all white. But I can clean it, I can repaint it fast, and I know it's not going out of style.
Yeah, for sure. What's the best way for someone to bring something old into a new house? So how do they mix in something from an old house or something to like bring more warmth into their design?
Yeah, I would say first thing is trim, because you go into any new build and they have this cheap MDF skinny trim. It's disgusting. I hate it. It's the first thing I tell people. Go buy like a 1x6 and redo the trim in your house, redo the trim around your doorways, get rid of those Howell pocket cheap doors, do something like that, because that's really, what brings in, on a budget, architectural design is all in your trim work. It's all in the different little things there that you don't think anyone will notice, but people notice. And when you have spectacular doors, or you have really good woodwork and it just has some depth to it, it makes such a difference to where it doesn't look like a white drywall box.
Yeah. I think everyone, when you go into the next house, start looking at the trim and touching the doors. You can tell.
The kitchen cabinet doors. I walk into like $10 million homes and they have these cheap cabinets.
MDF, like, flat. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can't see. And I'm spoiled because we custom build everything. So all of our cabinets are 100% wood. Everything there's no plastic in anything we do, but it blows my mind sometimes when I go in and I see that. I'm like, wow, how did this builder get away with that? But they do. But that's the thing. And always look for a dovetail on your drawers. That's what you need all the time. Otherwise, sooner or later, that drawer front is going to fall off and it's going to break your tile, or it's going to break your child, somewhere.
Yeah. All right. So everyone keep sending in your questions. We're going to get to all of the questions at the end. But right now we're going to play a little game that we've played with about 30 guests over the past month, but it's called This or That. Okay. So I'm going to ask you something. You can just give us one side or the other, or you can give us explanation. Just we'll rip through them. So this one's an easy one for you. So open concept or closed off rooms?
I'm going to take some closed off rooms.
Next one, bathroom reno or a kitchen reno?
Ooh, that's tough. I would have to say bathroom. I can live with a bad kitchen.
Natural brick or painted brick?
Okay. There is a difference between 1980 snake brick, I say, where it's like white, black, brown, yellow all over. Paint that all day long. I am the first to say paint that. But if it's like 1887 brick, natural all the way.
Interior reno or exterior reno?
Oh, I always got to do interior. I got to do interior. Yeah.
So this, refinished or new, we know that answer.
Yeah.
Front yard or backyard?
Oh gosh, I got to have a backyard.
Yeah.
For sure.
What about from someone doing a project perspective? Do you think that if they have a budget that they're working in for landscaping, do you think that the buyers are looking more for what happens on the curb appeal or the useful stuff in the back?
If I put on my realtor cap here, you gotta have the front yard. It's gotta be smashing. So I'll always spend a little more money in the front, and then the backyard, I always say, like, here's your backyard. This is something for you to do after you sign the check and give me back my money and take the house from me. Yes.
Yeah. So this is something on your show, which I think is so this is so do it yourself or hire someone.
Yeah.
This or that.
I mean, today I'm at hire someone mode, but no, I'm always tear it apart myself first, because that saves me more money.
So how did you learn? So I feel like a lot of times, no offense to all of our other HGTV guests, I feel like a lot of times it's a show and they're putting on the fact that they're doing the work. When I watch your show, I can tell by someone who also, I am not handy. So like when I joke around on Instagram like I'm doing work, it's a joke because I'm not. But for you, it looks like you really know what you're doing. So how did you pick up all that and learn it? And
just practice. I didn't know what I was doing when I bought my first house, and I made so many mistakes. I always joke now that what took 6 years to do on my own, now we do it in 6 days, but I really had to learn. And still, today we're going to build a bar on my back porch because it's day 9,773 at home. So I'm like, what else can I build out here? But it really has just been watching other people work, and then I learned from them. And like I said, I definitely was not made for TV. You will never see me do something so correct on TV, because most of the time I don't know what I'm doing, and every single one of our projects is so unique that I have a new set of problems with each house. So we've just learned as we've gone along, and I love it. I love it when people write in, they're like, why'd you do it that way? Have you ever tried this? Have you ever tried it this way? I'm like, it never even crossed my mind. Thanks for the suggestion. So I've learned a lot. I mean, my crock pot trick, which everyone uses now to refinish old hardware, where you drop the old hardware in a crock pot for a couple hours and it strips all the paint off. I learned it from a viewer who wrote in and was like, why are you sitting there scrubbing old hardware? Just put it in a crock pot. And I'm like, mind blown. I'm like, thank you so much. But, I've also always lived in really cool inner city neighborhoods with old houses and been neighbors with some really fantastic people that I'm like, hey, what do you do and how do you do that? And they teach you. So it's pretty cool.
When you were, back when you were buying the houses for projects, so someone who's, watching along wants to get into their first flip or find a good project, what were the things that you looked for when you were picking out a project, and things that you'd shy away from?
Cheap, 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 and cheap. because I didn't have any money. So that's how I got into the dollar houses with the cities, where they had houses that they were going to demolition because they were so bad. Now that was way beyond my expertise, but they were free. So it's like, that's how we did it. The first real house that I bought as an investment was $20,000, and I had to refi another house, grab the money out of it to buy it. But the only reason it was $20,000 was because it was falling in, and it was on a half lot, to where if somebody tore it down, they couldn't rebuild it because the zoning had changed for lot size. So that's how I got that house. So it's always been whatever's cheap, I'll deal with all the other problems, which, you know, when I look at it, if I had the money up front, if I had like, you know, $200,000-$300,000 up front, it would be a lot easier just to buy a house at that level and add $10,000 worth of work to it. But I've always had to nickel and dime everything. So we always started with the cheapest house. And then back when we started the show, I was still hustling real estate. I was still selling stuff on Craigslist, doing all these odd jobs. And, you know, there were weeks where I'd be like, shit, we need $3,000 to paint the exterior. Move it to next week because we haven't made enough money yet to paint the exterior of the house. So it was always as much work as I could get done myself. And that's how the show started.
Yeah. All right. Last one of this or that. Basement reno basement or attic reno?
Oh, attic all day long. All day long. One, every single old house that I have has the most fabulous, we call them my penthouse suites, because I make our master bedroom on the attic level. And when it comes to return, you're going to get so much more money for any space finished above ground than below ground. I always tell people that basements are like give-me's. Like, buyers don't want to pay for it. They want it, but you're not going to make any money off it.
Do you ever have problems in your projects adding that attic square footage, or is that something that doesn't come up as an issue in the cities where you do projects?
Is it what?
Like, do you have any issues adding the square footage into the attics? I know in some areas you can't just go do that.
Oh, I've never had an issue, no.
You just do it. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a ton of questions. We're going to just kind of rip through some of these. So first one is Teresa Young asks, my daughter wants to open her wall between the dining room and the kitchen. The house is over 100 years old. What is the best way to see if this is possible?
They ask me right now. I'm telling you no. One, that's a supporting wall. So your house is going to fall down if you do it right now without somebody there. And two, leave it up. I promise you it's going to be okay. Leave it up. Yeah. You can send me pictures and I'm sorry, I got like hair going on here. You can send me a photo, Teresa, and I will tell you, there's no one has ever convinced me to open up an old house dining room wall. Never.
Yeah.
In all these years.
Yeah, that's a great question. Christy Yano, are marble kitchen countertops really a big no?
No, I use marble in every single house. I'm not hip to anything that's man-made, and everyone's switching right now to this manufactured. We use Detroit stone, and Andre is the owner there, and he's like, Nicole, you are the only person that still uses marble, because they're doing so many cool things right now with like faux marble and these porcelain sheets and everything like that. But I love the fact that it's natural stone and I can rebuff it. And that countertop is going to last me 100 to 100 years all day long. So we still use marble in all of our projects.
Yeah. Don't be scared. If it gets a little.
It's common sense. Do not spill a bottle of wine on white carpeting and white marble countertops.
And if you spill, clean it up right away.
Clean it up right away. And I have marble, all of our houses from the show are on Airbnb. So, I always want, one, because I have a great collection of antiques. So when we stage the houses for the show, it's actually all my stuff. And those stay in the house when we turn it into an Airbnb. But we have marble countertops in all those houses. And other than a few scratches and stuff, it's pretty easy to maintain. You just have to seal it.
You still there?
Yes.
So MMIR Ina asks, what do you think of open shelving in a kitchen?
I hate it. I have dogs and I have children. So I say if you are single, you don't really live in your house, and you're cool with like having to rinse your dishes every single time you take them off the shelf, then go for it. But other than like a decorative thing, I'm not a big person on tchotchke, like in a house, because I'm an old house cleaner. Like I started where I got all my money to buy houses was from my house cleaning business. So I know that anything is open, it's going to get dust on it. It's going to get grease on it. I think it's a hot mess. Don't do it.
Yeah.
But if you're out of money and you need to fill a wall, open shelves all day long. They're so cheap and easy.
What about glass cabinets?
I love glass. But see, I'm an organizational freak. So even if my cabinets are all closed up, like you open it, it looks like ding, 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 ding all the time. Plus, it also, if you have a small space, the glass cupboards bounce light in. So everything looks bigger when you have glass.
Yeah. Tony Keene asks, when will the new Rehab Addicts be on TV, and what's the name of the new show?
The new show is yet to be determined, but I'm pretty sure it's still Rehab Addict. We have filmed one episode and then we got shut down. So it's gonna be a little while, but I promise you it's gonna be worth the wait, because it's, you know, it's what we do, and it's real. There is no BS on our stuff. What you see is what you get. And the really awesome part is that with all the new things that are going on, we get to show even more of that, because, you know, our crew, we shoot with one camera, and we've never had a sound guy. I'm the EP on the show. And it's the same group that I've worked with for the past 10 years. So when you see like 5 guys just working in the house with me, it's not like we have a video village and there's like a director and a this and a that. No, it's me. It's my camera person, which we float between a couple, which is Christina, one of my best friends, and Tuna, which is one of my best friends. And they shoot behind the camera, and I'm like, all right, let's go. And they literally follow us around all day. That's it. So I think that's the cool thing. And now the new show, we get to show more of that. You get to really see, like, we show the cameras now, because that's the love of it. I want people to see that you can really come into any of our projects at any time, and it's no BS. It's not a TV set. It's a construction site. Nice.
Strawberry Wine 23. If you have to remove tile, what's the best way to do it?
Get somebody else to do it. No, I'm kidding. That's a Leif job. One of my project managers, Leif, always says that his job is to do everything. Like, I start projects all the time because I get really excited, like removing tile. But if it's tile that is going away, just take a chisel and hammer that stuff out of there and get rid of it. If it's tile that you need to preserve and it's really old, you just need to let it stay. So that's it. But, you know, big floor projects, we'll bring in like a chisel hammer, and that takes that stuff out right away. But yeah, there's nothing like hammering away some tile. That's fun.
Fabian Leoped, kitchen flooring. Should I use tile or hardwoods?
Hardwood all day long. If you can, you know, and the thing is that red oak is really cheap. It's not cheap in material wise, but it's very inexpensive. So you can do a whole kitchen floor in hardwood cheaper than you can tile. And I love, you know, all of our old houses have fir floors, Douglas fir, which tends to be a little bit softer. But I mean, I have dogs and kids, and trust me, we abuse our houses. We live in our houses, and they're Airbnbs, and we still, as long as you keep them up and maintain them. But I guarantee you, any old house has wood floors in the kitchen. I promise you. And even if it's covered in gook and tile, you can still get that stuff off. There has never been a hardwood floor that we haven't been able to restore.
Awesome. Derman Sales, is it better value to pop the roof on a house or go out the back on a house?
Ooh, it depends. I really don't know. I'm not big on additions because usually we're dealing with city lots, so we don't have a lot of space. But I like to go up and out. So on this house that we have in LA, we're going up and out. That's the whole idea of it. Yeah. But it's easier. I don't know either. It's always easier. It's always easier to do the opposite of whatever you started doing once you're in the mix of it. And then you're like, it would have just been easier to go out the back. Yeah. But that's how it is.
CW Mora, what do you think of shiplap? Overdone, never enough.
No comment? No comment? So overdone. Here's the thing with all these rustic walls y'all are doing. You can't clean them. You can't dust them. You can't, like, and here's the thing. These pallet walls, I'm a big proponent of safety first, and there is still lead and asbestos and all these nasty things on salvaged items that you bring into your home. So if you are going to go for a rustic look, sand that stuff down and put a coat of poly on it for the safety of everyone. So we've only done a couple like rustic wood things where I've definitely used my scrap wood, but after we put it up, we poly it. So one, I can clean it, and two, all the contaminants are contained.
Yeah. Let's see here. A Fitch 437. What are your thoughts on original windows in terms of efficiency?
Love original windows, and let me tell you why.
That
The
scares
reason
me so much.
Original windows, people say they leak because you haven't maintained them. Get a bucket of glaze, watch one of our shows. You can, and by the way, you can watch every single episode right now on HGTV Go for free. Like all the episodes are unlocked. I used to say you had to go visit my grandma because she had the DVD set that we made specific for her, but she's in heaven now, so it's a little strange to get to. But you know, the old windows, one, most people don't have storms on them. You got to have storms and the reglazing. But the reason I love old windows is that they are made of old growth wood. So when your old house windows were built, you had trees that were 300, 400, 500 years old cut down to make these windows. That wood is so dense and tight that once you keep them maintained, they are as energy efficient as anything out there. And there is a reason they call replacement windows. You have to replace those things like every 5 to 10 years. Those sons of bitches break a seal, you got to throw the whole window out. There's nothing recycled on a new vinyl window at all. So, and I will tell you this, if you need an economy-proof business, start an old window restoration company. There's not enough trades doing it. And to get a whole house to have all the windows restored on like a 2-story, let's say bungalow, it costs about $3,000 to $5,000 to have a company and restore them. New windows cost $10,000 to $15,000. So that's why I say keep your original windows. Plus, you change the entire aesthetic of your house when you switch out old windows because of the glass, the framing, everything. I can drive down any street. I'll show you every house that has new windows. And then I bitch about it nonstop. And then they got to turn the corner.
Small cup designs. Do you like sliding barn doors in a house or pocket
doors? No. I did barn doors designs because I was bored at one point and I wanted to put my old garage doors on like I wanted to use them. Yes. D, can you find D? He's in the house. So I took my old carriage doors and I went to a farming store and bought the barn door slides. And then all of a sudden it got so popular and people are putting it like everywhere. And I think like it's good in like a new design, right? But also, you know, I don't know. I think it's overdone right now. I'm not a fan of it. Pocket doors all day long. I love pocket doors. They save so much space. And I don't know. I think we're coming up on that time very soon when people are just sick of seeing the barn door in their house. I think it's coming. It's going to be like the brass thing.
It's not that functional.
No, and one, it's not soundproof. Two, you can't lock it. And if you have children, somebody has gotten their fingers smushed in that. Or if you're an adult like me, somebody has gotten their fingers smushed in that.
Carrie C. Brown asks, how many houses have you completed?
Well, yes. I don't know off track. I mean, right now in my own portfolio, I think I own 19 or 20 houses that are mine. Those are like on Airbnb, so we float between all those all the time. But over the years, I would say we're still under 30 because it takes about a year or 2 years. Some houses take 3 or 4 years for us to completely restore. So it's never been the quantity of houses. It's all about the quality of them.
Designs by Bray Bray. Do you allow people to work with you? I want to go into historic preservation.
Yes. So here's the thing. We love. I didn't say I hate brass, people. I just said it goes in and out. Yes. There was a time where like blue and steel was in, remember? And everyone did everything glass and blue and steel. It was horrible. But no, we still have like our big volunteer days where people can come out. But anyone looking to get into historic preservation, hats off to you. It's amazing. I love it. You know, that's always a thing. The greenest house is the one left standing. And once you wipe out these we don't have the materials or the tradespeople anymore to recreate the wonders of all these old houses.
Let's see. Dear Man Sales. Is that Santa's house behind you?
Oh my gosh. Isn't this great? No, it's a little floating castle for my little guy. So it's like our reading nook. So we go in there. This is one of the projects that I actually got done. Santa brought us the castle 2 years ago, and it's been hiding out in the garage, not being hung up. So yes. But I get motion sickness, so we had to put it in a corner where it doesn't spin, because I'm tiny. The children always want me to squish in all the little tiny spots with them, but then they start swinging it, and I'm like, oh, yeah.
Let's see. Eeps428. If the basement has brick and concrete, should I paint it or drywall over it?
If it has what?
Brick and concrete in a basement.
On the walls?
Yeah, so it's a basement. Should they drywall over it or paint it?
Oh my gosh, don't drywall over anything in a basement. Every single basement, even new build, has something called seepage. I promise you. I know so many people in the basement thing. So I'm always like, I would work with what I have. I love concrete floors in basement. I love concrete walls.
Bliss Flume asks, Travertine flooring, should I remove it or keep it?
No! Oh my gosh, we just did a house where they had covered the travertine up for years and years and years and years and years. So you can always uncover it and work with it.
Denise Margaret, how do I stop my old floors from squeaking?
You don't. Just live with it. Just
enjoy them.
Huh?
I said enjoy them.
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm having difficulty with our squeaky floors because I put the little guy to bed and then I'm squeaking into the kitchen to get my milk duds and my whoppers or just like hang out. And then it's like, kids are on high alert. But it's one of the quirks. It's one of the fun quirks of an old house.
Marila Regirmo, black or white windows? I guess.
Oh, black is all the rage right now, and I love it. And we're actually doing a very cool historic lake cottage right now that we have outside of Detroit. And I did a huge addition on it, so we have to do new windows. And I am trying to decide between white windows or black windows. So I don't know. I'm not one to like jump into a trend pool because I don't want to hate it in 5 years because that's going to be an expensive change. But they do look pretty sharp, don't they?
Yeah. Muppet 49. Do you like big kitchen islands? Do you think people will start taking them out?
Ooh, I'll tell you this. In your open concept, you all have these huge islands. That's fine. But I still love an island, and I will fit an island even into an old, small kitchen. My kitchen here, I would have given you a tour, but it is definitely not in a tour thing. But I can touch all four walls. I say I like spread out, and I can spin around and touch. I still like having a small island. So I will do really narrow islands. I just like more workable space. And I always love, the entire family in the kitchen. So I always find something to work. We have one house that I think I put in a kitchen island. I always say like as long as it's big enough for me to put my laptop on so I can work in there or something. But you can do a small island, even like, 16 inches wide. It doesn't matter. I mean, that's kind of how I'm building our porch bar today. So I say if you can work in an island, I put everything on casters so I can move it out of the way if I need to.
Zach Renovates asks, how are you doing with Airbnb during COVID-19?
Hey, people still need a place to go. All of our Airbnbs, actually, I'm in one of them now, but it's a little harder because, people are, whatever. But all of our houses are absolutely in tip-top shape. My house manager, Judy, and Danielle and everyone, I mean, everything is so sanitized. I'm a clean freak anyhow because we had a house cleaning business for so long. So all of our places are sanitized, but we're getting people that have to, we had a lot of people come back to Detroit from New York because, my son was included in that too because he was working in Manhattan. So we have a lot of people that are coming back to like Detroit, which is their hometown, and needing a place for like a month or 2 months. So thank goodness. Thank you to everyone in our Airbnbs right now because I was like having heart palpitations because we have so many houses and the Airbnb keeps everything running and it's a paycheck for a lot of the people on our crew. So yeah, it's going. I'm telling you, I'm like, Yeah, there's days where I'm like, there was an old episode that I used to always say, I'm like 3 days from being bankrupt if somebody doesn't buy this house. And right now, you know, we're
Yeah.
spread pretty thin. And, you know, the biggest thing right now is that, you know, I support all small businesses, small shops, small everything. My guys all have small businesses and they can't work. I mean, you know, small businesses need help right now. And so that's, you know, that's what we still focus on is, you know, all of our trades and everything and keeping them going because it's hard. It's hard watching my guys that have finally got a successful business going. And this is hitting hard for a lot of them.
Couple more. Christito asked, what color fixtures do you like best?
Do you have a choice in fixtures? In bathrooms, we always do chrome because that's what, did you see that fly try to dive into my head? That's what was always in historic homes. So I don't use any of like the rubbed bronze or anything like that. So we still do chrome in the kitchens and the bathrooms. We'll do like usually we redo all of our door hardware and everything. But if we had to do something antique brass, something that looks historic. But yeah, you can't go wrong with chrome. I'm a big chrome and polished nickel. Polished nickel is always more expensive than the chrome fixtures. So if you have the money to invest in that, that's always nice. But I like everything shiny.
We got a question from Jonathan. How do you feel about concrete countertops?
I love them. Jonathan just took over my face there, I think, or something. But concrete countertops, I was just thinking of this. I remember like a guy made some for like one of our projects and then they dropped it going in. They're so handcrafted. They're still very fragile. So I don't think I'd go out of my way to make a concrete countertop anymore. I still love them. It's still a really cool thing. I love seeing them outdoors, but they're very fragile. It's an art. So that's one of those things where I'm like, yikes. I don't think I have the patience for it anymore.
TT Presh asked, what product do you use to clean up built-ins? Is it a kind of oil?
Lemon oil all day long. Yes, definitely.
And we'll do one more. I don't speak Spanish, so I can't read these ones. Do you speak Spanish?
I should, but I don't because I minored in it. And yes. I thought I did well until I went to Cuba, and then I realized I don't speak Spanish very well. So, yes.
What do you think of the double island trend?
No, I think it would go. No, I mean, if you have the space, I guess it's really an odd question for me. Anything that says trend on it, I'm like, yes, I don't know what to say about that. So. Yeah, I love everything pocket-wise in kitchens. I love things that pull out, especially in small kitchens. You know, we've been designing some really cool things where you open it up and then the table pops up and out and things like that. Wherever I can stash extra space, that's what I like to do.
I saw a question from Kat. She says, how do you refinish old detailed doors? I tried it and it was a mess.
Oh, well, if you're stripping anything, you have to have a cheap dental kit, like the pick and everything. Little tiny wire brushes, old toothbrushes. We like any sink in any of our projects, you go underneath and there's just a jar of old toothbrushes. No one can throw out a toothbrush because we use those to scrub everything. So it's just patience. I always say like projects, if you're like a beer drinker, it's like do a small project, have a beer. If you're a wine drinker, it's a bottle of wine. So you know, celebrate small successes. I know a lot of people are so eager just to tear everything up right now. Like I probably have 7 good projects going on here right now. And then I lose interest and I go to something else. So try to finish one. You'll feel so much better and your house will look better, I promise.
All right, last one. I just found concrete floors under my laminate. Yay or nay? How do I clean them? Any advice?
Okay, so concrete floors, you can get the sticky off of there. But I love doing something. We have epoxy floors, which I love. In our mid-century house, we did epoxy floors because I wanted to look like a bowling alley floor. It was pretty cool. But you can seal a concrete floor for so cheap. I think a gallon of concrete sealer is $30. And I spread that out. The nice thing about concrete sealer is you don't have to do anything perfect. You can just roll that stuff on. It dries in about 2 hours. It cures in a day. And it looks remarkable. I love the look of raw concrete. Like I have painted concrete around our house here in LA and I'm this close from getting a buffer with a diamond brush and like removing all the paint and just going back to raw concrete everywhere.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. This has been awesome. Do you have anything else you want to finish up and tell the people?
No, I will say this. One, we are casting. So if you have an old house in Detroit that's unique and you need some help from us, message us. And two, please keep posting your projects. I love seeing them. I do see them. Some of them I'm like, oh, I can't believe you did that. And I'm always one to tell the truth. So if I think you did a horrible job, I'll tell you and tell you how to fix it. And if you did a great job, I'm always giving props out there. But everyone, thank you so much for 10 years of supporting us. My guys, you know, this is our world. We love old houses and everything about it. And we're so thankful for everyone out there because you have made our business a success no matter what. And you've taken me from like, you know, this poor single mommy building houses to, you know, being like, you know, being able to do what I love, which is real estate and restoration and just, you know, building our own little historical empire here. So we appreciate it. And thanks for having me on. This was fun.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. Stay safe and we'll talk soon. Bye.